Hello, everyone. The special envoy of Trump and trusted man, Steve Wicker, will shed light on how the negotiations are progressing. Subscribe to the channel and give a like to the video.
We agreed, Jake. First of all, thank you for having me, and good morning. We agreed to robust security guarantees that I would describe as game-changing. We didn't think that we were anywhere close to agreeing to Article 5 protection from the United States, in legislative enshrinement within the Russian Federation, not to go after any other territory when the peace deal is codified, legislative enshrinement in the Russian Federation, not to go after any other European countries and violate their sovereignty. So we agreed to, there was plenty more.
Here's what President Trump said going into the meeting about the need for a ceasefire. Let's roll that tape.
I want to see a ceasefire rapidly. I don't know if it's going to be today, but I'm not going to be happy if it's not today. Everyone said it can't be today, but I'm just saying I want the killing to stop. I'm in this to stop the killing.
Obviously, the ceasefire didn't happen.
I'm in this to stop the killing.
Obviously, the ceasefire didn't happen. Last night, Russia launched more than 60 aerial attacks across Ukraine, killing at least 5 people, injuring 11. President Trump had said if he didn't like what he was hearing in the meeting, he would walk out. Why didn't he, once it became clear Putin was not going to agree to a ceasefire, which would end the bloodshed now?
Jake, the one thing, we were there as a mediator, so we were obviously advancing the Ukrainian view. The one thing that the president cannot agree to on behalf of the Ukrainians is any sort of land swap. That is for the Ukrainians. They've asked us or stated that to us, and the president is respectful of it. But that's why we're moving so quickly to a meeting on Monday at the Oval Office with President Zelensky. That being said, we covered almost all the other issues necessary for a peace deal. So I described the ceasefire as the interim move where you would then negotiate towards a peace deal. We made so much progress at this meeting with regard to all the other ingredients necessary for a peace deal that President Trump pivoted to that place. Now, we're not waiting a week for a meeting with President Zelensky and the European leaders, or 2 weeks, or 3 weeks. We're going into a meeting with them within 48 hours of ending this meeting in Alaska. So we are intent on trying to hammer out a peace deal that ends the fighting permanently very, very quickly, quicker than a ceasefire.
How would it be quicker than a ceasefire? I understand the idea of like a larger peace deal is an important point. But it was President Trump that had said that he wanted a ceasefire agreed to at the meeting on Friday. And he didn't get it, and there are now 5 Ukrainians who are dead because the Russians continue to bombard Ukraine. I still don't understand how not getting the ceasefire deal is a win. I understand the idea of wanting this bigger package, of course, but a ceasefire would at least stop the bloodshed right now.
Jake, the thesis of a ceasefire is that you'd be discussing all of these issues that we resolved in Alaska. You'd be discussing security guarantees. There's not a person on the European team who didn't acknowledge that we made substantial progress at this meeting. We certainly did. So we cut through all kinds of issues that would have to be discussed and agreed to during a ceasefire period. The fundamental issue, which is some sort of land swap, which is obviously ultimately in the control of the Ukrainians, that could not have been discussed at this meeting. We intend to discuss it on Monday. Hopefully we have some clarity on it, and hopefully that ends up in a peace deal very, very soon.
Joining us now to discuss is U.S. Special Envoy Steve Wicker, who was in the room for the Trump-Putin summit, and it was a 3-on-3, and he was one of the 3. He has also met face-to-face with Vladimir Putin many times, including earlier this month in Moscow. Ambassador Wicker, always good to have you on. Thank you so much. So President Trump called this an extremely productive meeting and said many points were agreed to. You were in the room. Can you give us 2 specific points that were agreed to?